Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video we're going to be talking about the kits, stats, some general kind of team sequence, and also a little WolverThor analysis of the stats this team for the Fantastic Four, including Namor. Now, I should say, Invisible Woman is not in this yet. We do not have the information for her, so she is excluded from this, so it's kind of a little bit of an asterisk on the conclusion at this point. But it'll at least give us a little bit of an idea of what to think of this team. So before I get into some of these things, let me give you a couple notes that you need to understand.
I'm a part of a volunteer Fox Next Envoy program. I'm not an employee of Fox Next, nor am I an employee of Marvel. I do not receive any payments from either of these companies. The information that I was provided came directly from Fox Next through this Envoy program. However, any opinions, comments, or analysis of this information is strictly my own.
All right, so as far as the stats go, you'll kind of see the characters and the stats scrolling behind me. I'm not going to go through these specifically right this second because essentially I'm going to go through them in detail later in kind of one of my normal WolverThor analysis spreadsheet type things. What I will mention is that the order that I'm showing them is the order that they will attack in based on their speed without any other buffs. So it's Human Torch, Namor, Mr. Fantastic, and then Thing. As I said before, Invisible Woman isn't in this yet, so we're not really exactly sure where she's going to fall in this line. So things could change slightly. But some of the things I think you'll notice is as you look through these, they have okay health pools. Their resistance is decent. It's not... none of them jumped out at me as kind of being like, oh, this is a top tier stat character. And again, I'll go through this in detail in the spreadsheet, but you will see that they've got okay stats. So like Mr. Fantastic here, his health is okay. Damage is pretty low. Honestly, our focus is, I think, reasonably high. You know, resistance is whatever. Crit damage and chance is always the same. Speed is okay. Thing's speed is on the lower end. You'll see in a second, I believe it's 86. That is one thing I will mention. His speed is not on the higher end of things. And, you know, as a brawler, he's not a protector, so that's probably fine. You know, he's not taunting or anything like that, which you'll obviously see soon. But he doesn't have one. He's just hitting. And so he's really got to, you know, hopefully hit hard. So, but again, I kind of wanted you to see these stats going on through the background and get an idea of kind of generally where they're at. And again, we'll do a deeper analysis and dive in that at the end of the video. All right, so here are the specific write-ups of the stats, synopsis of this team, etc. So I'm not going to read word for word, but generally speaking, these guys are going to have a lot of synergy, including with Namor. They want to be a devastating force in Alliance War. That's the intention here. So it's meant to be, you know, a decent team throughout, though. Invisible Woman is a legendary character. It's going to be announced. Her kit's going to be announced at a later date. We'll see what that is, how it kind of incorporates and everything. So this specific note's important. Fantastic Four is not looking to go up against X-Men or Brotherhood in Arena, but they are going to be pretty solid in Alliance War. So I'm looking at these guys as probably like a Power Armor-esque type team. So having said that, let's get into their specific abilities. And you'll see these as we go through the videos a little bit later, but let's just go through them once now. All right, so first, Human Torch. His basic, attack primary target for 210% damage, plus apply bleed for 2 turns. Always nice to have that for 2 turns like that. Special, gain 2 offensive up to a maximum of 5. Apply 1 offensive up to a maximum of 3 to all Fantastic Four or Namor allies. Attack primary target for 350% damage. For me, this is a big one. I'd use this first turn. He's like I said earlier, he's the first one to go. I like this ability. We'll see where the energy goes when we watch the next part of the video, but this is, to me, first turn. Ultimate, attack all enemies for 400% damage. Apply offense down to all enemies. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be countered. Really like that. That's got, you know, defenders written all over it, but mainly because of the counters. Passive, and we've gone through these before in the previous videos, but on turn, flip 2 negative effects on self to positive. gain 30% damage. Fantastic Four and Namor allies gain 30% damage, and he's got resistance against bleed. So pretty basic there. The thing to remember about the thing is that he's basically just attacking. He's just attacking. So these are all pretty basic and generic. There's no taunt, no, apply debuffs or anything. So basic is attack primary target for 350% damage. Okay. Special, attack primary target for 280% damage. A little bit weaker, but bonus attack 2 times for 220% damage. So you get a few hits in there, so it's kind of nice. And then the ultimate hits primary target for 550% damage. So it seems like the special is the one that's going to really hit the hardest here. But, I'm not sure the math, how that adds up, but just off the top of my head, it seems to be that way. A passive, again, when attacked, attack that enemy for 150% damage. Gain armor, 20%. Fantastic Four and Namor allies gain more armor. Mr. Fantastic. All right, so his basic. Attack primary target for 230% damage. Chain to 3 adjacent targets for 190% damage. Counterattack breaks the chain. So nice just kind of chain effect there. Special, attack primary target for 400% damage plus stun. Okay, it's pretty cool. Hard hitting and stun. So for the ultimate, clear defense up from primary target, attack primary target for 450% damage, gain 100,000% extra focus for the stack. So basically, he's always clearing defense up. I'm trying to think, it's interesting, who's that, meant to go to? There's obviously a lot of defense up, but I guess really anybody, right? It could be your, Iron Man War Machine. It can be your Defenders. It can be your Wakandans, all kinds of different stuff. Passive. We went over these, but extra resist. Fantastic Four and Namor allies get extra resist. Extra focus for the same group. On self and each Fantastic Four allies turn, 100% chance to apply assist now. So you'll see in the video a lot of Force Science popping up. I think that's calling for these assists. So keep an eye out for that. That's what it's meaning. If assist now is applied, clear blind on that target. On turn, choose 3 random enemies. If they have a positive effect, remove 1. All right, so Namor, his basic, attack primary target for 210% damage, plus some piercing. Special, attack primary target for 350% damage, attack adjacent targets for 340% damage. On target block, bonus attack 2 times for 100% piercing to primary and adjacent targets. So you really kind of want to use a special on a blocking potentially target. So I mean, it could be, not that you're using power armor on defense for war, but it could be Falcon, it could be your Captain America's, Riot Armor Guard, Ultimus, anybody who's got kind of a, M'Baku high block percentage chance. So ultimate, attack all enemies for 300% damage. Pretty simple. On war offense, this attack always crits. Clear all positive effects from each target. Change speed bar by all targets by 50%. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be countered. This ultimate is crazy good. Like, really good for war offense, because it's a speed bar in PvP is king, queen, whatever. It's good. So that's a really nice effect. So you might, obviously you want to let the positive effects go out, but I could see this as kind of a let Ultron go, let his minions buff everybody, and then use his ultimate and clear it all. It's kind of nice, kind of like Phoenix-esque, or Dark Phoenix-esque alt. His passive, again, we've gone through these before. Gain 20% damage, 30% armor. On war offense, on spawn, apply offense up for 2 turns to all Fantastic Four allies and self. Now that's key when you think about the Human Torch's special that I mentioned earlier, because it was a +1 offense up. So it's adding to what Namor's already doing. So it's kind of nice. At least that's the way I'm taking it. On spawn, apply deflect for 2 turns to all Fantastic Four allies or self. Gain additional 30% damage. Fantastic Four allies gain 30% damage. So again, love his passive. It's super solid. It's really gonna help you win some of those war battles, and especially if you don't have your hanger anymore. he's got the deflex. So pretty solid kit all around from all these guys. Now let's kind of look at the video when they're using them, and we'll talk about it a little bit as you go and see kind of the sequence at least that the videos we were provided went in. All right, so we got a raid playback here from that we received from Fox Next. We're going to go through, and the point of seeing this is to see how much energy comes in kind of the sequence of events. So again, we went through the abilities. Human Torch comes in. He's only able to use either basic or special. His ultimate has still got 2 turns to wait until he can use it, unless there's some sort of energy generation. But again, I mentioned this earlier, you want to use that special to get the offense up out, even outside of war when you're going to get them naturally through Namor's passive. Here, you get the use a special, get some offense up out there. Gives it to himself, obviously. It's almost Gamora-like there. Gets the assist from the offense up thing. And then Spider-Man goes, which we skip over. And then now it's Namor's turn. He comes with all his energy full, special and ultimate. The ultimate selected here. Pretty cool animation where he summons Giganto. And in war, this would clear positive effects and change speed bar, but this is just raid, so you're not seeing it. It's just a general hit. And then next up is Mr. Fantastic, and his energy comes where it's his ultimate is ready first turn, his basic or his special is not. It's got to wait a turn, so you can obviously nuke with that ultimate, and you've got a defense down Merc Lieutenant, so it'll hit probably pretty hard here. He gets a little neck extension there, I guess, to make sure he hits accurately. And then we've got Thing come up. They don't hover over his abilities, but you can see that he's got all his energy available first turn, which is, I guess, fine. So they use a special there. Second turn here for Human Torch. He's using his basic, no other choice. Gets the assist from Thing again through Mr. Fantastic's passive, which is nice. Again, Spider-Man turn. Namor's second turn, I'm going to use a special here, which is going to hit some adjacent allies. Kills both of them, so no assist. Mr. Fantastic second turn, he's got his special ready now. Just he's hitting Merc Lieutenant, calls the assist again via passive. And it's nice in war. So now they're looking at the ability, but it's nice in war. You can have a lot of offensive assists. So again, Thing, depending what you use first turn, he can use his either ultimate or special here, or his basic. They're kind of going through the specific abilities here, and again, he's mainly just hitting people, which I guess makes sense. He's not necessarily, taunting. He's just clobbering people. So again, the special was used the first turn. So I believe they use the ultimate here. But I don't remember 100%. But you can see, depending what you want to do here and where you want to put, if you want to have bonus damage, really it's just like how much damage you want to hit for, as far as what you want to use first turn versus second turn. It's all gonna, hit, hard. He kind of slides in and does an uppercut there, gets the assist again from Mr. Fantastic's passive. This time calling in Namor, and now this is Human Torch's ultimate. Comes in, lights up everybody, puts the 4 on the ground. Pretty cool. Offense down around. Now he's not flamed on anymore, you'll notice as well. So very interesting aspect of that, what I thought. Is Spider-Man, again, another ability he's got there. We don't really care as much about that. Namor basic. It's going to get an assist. Or not. That's interesting. You gotta double check that one. And then, that's a pretty cool can't kill animation there too for the Human Torch. So that's a little run of their raid abilities and kind of the sequence that they come in. Hopefully it gives you an idea of how you might want to use them, at least initially to start. All right, so now I mentioned before I was going to do a WolverThor stat type thing, spreadsheet type thing. That's what this is. So what we're seeing here is the normally in this stat spreadsheet I have everybody the stats from msf.gg with level 70, 7 yellow star, no red, tier 11, and then the passive at level 4. Obviously with this particular video the stats aren't at that level. They're 6 yellow, 1 red, and gear tier 10. So what I had to do here is basically translate because of these stats not being the same as what I normally factor in. So what I did, if you care, is basically take the same stats from America Chavez in one scenario versus the other. It's basically a 14% difference. So I took the stats that were on there and increased them by 14%. Okay, so whatever. So now, having said that, if you haven't seen this spreadsheet that I've done before, is normally what I do is I've got all these different categories that I just enter the stats from msf.gg from, and then I rank them. So that way I can have an idea, and then I get kind of an average rank off to the side. So I've highlighted the Fantastic Four in this list, and let's see exactly where they fall. All right, and again, I've sorted this by average rank based on all of the different ranks across the board, okay? So we're starting at the top, okay? And you'll see on the yellow where they're at. So I'm scrolling down. First one up is Thing. I was a bit surprised when I found this. He's technically ranked 38th as far as all tunes in the game, and his average, and he's basically in this chunk of the mid 40s, mid to late 40s. His average rank on these is 48. And the reason for that is it looks like he's got a high health ranked, which you'd expect, high resistance, which you'd expect. I'd actually expect that to be a little bit higher considering he's a rock. It's Jessica Jones has a higher resist, Colossus has a higher resist, Rescue has a higher resist, Mysterio has a higher resist. So I could see that moving up a little bit. His armor rank, again, I think that would be higher, but 25 is not bad. His focus rank is low. I'd expect that. His damage rank is, mid-tier, not terribly. And his speed is pretty low end. So again, not super surprised by that. So next up, Mr. Fantastic. He falls in at 56. If you look at him, his average rank across the board is 52.5. He's got actually a surprisingly high health pool. I was a bit surprised by that. His damage rank is pretty low. Not surprised by that at all. Armor rank also low. Again, not surprised. Focus rank high. That's as it should be. Resistance rank top half-ish. A little bit better. Speed rank, again, he's not terrible there. So not a bad character to say the least. And then next up, Namor. So Namor comes in with an extremely high health pool, 9. I was pretty surprised by that. His damage rank, though, is pretty low, which I don't know a lot about Namor, but I, for whatever reason, thought he might be a bit more of a damage dealer, but not based on these numbers currently. Armor rank, again, mid-tier. Focus rank, pretty low, which, if I remember correctly, the only time you really need that is for his ultimate, so that's not totally unexpected. Resistance around 40th rank. Speed is fairly high, 26th. So yeah, solid 54.3 rank. And then rounding out them, forget Red Skull, that's still highlighted because we're waiting. But Human Torch came way at the bottom here. I was a bit surprised by this. His health pool is obviously pretty low. His damage rank isn't as high as I thought it would be. Again, this is just base damage, so you've got to factor in the percent increases for their abilities before you really kind of say how good this guy is. This is pure base stats. Armor rank is bad. Focus is pretty bad. Resistance is not too bad, but his speed is great. So top 3 speed in the game, and again, he comes around 63. So the 4 of them are, they're all mid-all tier, which is, you look at them by themselves. I think, hopefully Invisible Woman really kind of brings them together as a unit. I think generally speaking, the Mr. Fantastic assists are a great start. The passes for Namor as well in War is also really nice. I'm hoping she does kind of a rescue-ish thing with the barrier and doing some more sort of bringing this team together just a little bit more so as a unit, at least in War, if that's what Fox Next was really hoping they do, is that they're really kind of just a force, that they're being Ultron type things. That's what I'd like to see this team be, is an Ultron killer in War. I think it could be there depending what they do with Invisible Woman. So let's get to the specific conclusion and what I think of this team. Okay, so final conclusion and thoughts. First, just to get to it, I think it's a solid team. I think they're going to do good things. Obviously, not having Invisible Woman in her kit is a huge missing component to this, especially her being the legendary on this. So let's see how that shakes out. But I'm leaning towards likely investing in this team when they first come out. So, you know, I think in war, you always want to have more offensive teams to take down, you know, other teams. But again, it's going to depend for me if I see them punching 50 to 120K plus in war. I really need them to see them doing that. And again, against multiple teams, not just defenders. I need to see them beating, you know, Ultron levels, you know, maybe some Captain Marvel teams, you know, mixed, I called them military teams, where it's like the Avengers and military with Captain Marvel. I really want to see them beating those type of teams as well. But again, we'll see how, you know, Invisible Woman brings them together. So my personal advice to you right now is I would plan on investing in these guys if you're into war. If you're not, you could probably casually get into them. And when I mean invest, I mean like, you know, go after the campaigns. You know, if you like to spend money, then sure, do that too. I'm the type of money I like to put in the game is I love that 3,000 energy deal that comes across, and you know, shards. You know, if there's a good value for shards. You know, obviously RNG with the orbs, that can get a little tricky, and you know, $50 for a certain number of shards, depending on where you're at financially, it could be tough. So, so when I say invest, it's all those different types of things. If there a blitz comes by, spend the time. So anyway, I hope this video helped. I try to take a different look at things. You know, obviously there's a lot of different content creators out there doing it. I encourage you to check out all of their videos. We all have different views on things, and you know, hopefully how you kind of see all of us approach this, it might help you make a decision for yourself on what you want to do. So if you like what you see here, please hammer down on that like button, click that notification bell, click the subscription button, you know, leave a comment, a like. That always helps kind of increase the traffic for, you know, the channel and get more views, and that's always obviously very, very appreciated. So again, thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you guys again soon.